and welcome to Charts and Hearts. I'm Sarah, and she's Lindsay.
And together we are working our way through an epic list of rom-coms in order to find and categorize tropes in the hopes of creating the nerdiest spreadsheet podcasts have ever seen.
Surprise! We're here with a special bonus episode in honor of Boxing Day, the best holiday ever. And we've got While You Were Sleeping.
Hooray! We got you Bill Pullman and Peter Gallagher's eyebrows.
Yay! Happy Boxing Day!
Hooray!
Yep. Yeah, Boxing Day is like, if you're not from Canada or places where they have Boxing Day, like I think the States, they just call it the day after Christmas, but we call it Boxing Day. It's like Christmas except no pressure because you don't have to give anybody presents. You just get to like play with the stuff you got and eat leftovers and like play games.
And not get dressed.
Get dressed. Or like some people, like when we used to do it too a bit, was like you go and like visit friends and neighbors and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so super fun, super chill.
Yeah. I
It's
like
great.
it.
And same with this movie. It's so good.
I love it so much. Oh my god.
So much. And it came out in 1995, which makes sense when you look at the movie. But the thing that got me was it came out in April.
Yeah, in the trivia it said it wasn't supposed to be a Christmas movie, and then they added it for marketing, but then it came out in April, so that doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah, I mean, I'm taking the release date from IMDb stuff, but I'm assuming that's correct. I have no idea. It's so strange. I feel like I saw it in the theaters for sure because I was 14 and had, just gotten over Speed, basically. I was like, who's this Bill Pullman you show me? If Sandra Bullock likes him, then I like him, basically.
And next year, he's going to save the world from aliens.
Yeah. So fun.
I had to look up how old he was because I was like, was he old enough to be president? But he's the same age as my mom. He's almost 70.
Yeah, he's older than he looks in this. Like he's playing younger than his age.
Yeah, he was 40 when they made this movie.
Yeah. And Sandra Bullock was like maybe 30? I don't know.
Yeah, he's 10 years older than her.
Okay, so yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like this movie like maybe didn't do great in theaters, but then did really well as like a TV movie when it got around to it, or like rentals and on TV that winter.
Yeah, probably. Because it's one of those ones that like you think you're the only people who ever watch it until you talk to people and they're like, I thought I was the only one who ever watched this movie.
Yeah, it's because it's low key and awesome, just like Boxing Day.
Yeah. And they always talk about Sleepless in Seattle or something else that has Bill Pullman and it is about sleeping.
Yes.
But nobody ever talks about it, like on movie lists and stuff.
No, exactly.
But I don't know why. It's amazing.
It is amazing, but it's also kind of weird.
Well, yeah.
It's super weird. Yeah, so this is the one where Sandra Bullock works at the train station. She takes tokens at the train in Chicago and has like a abstract crush on a guy who is Peter Gallagher, which, fair enough. If I had Peter Gallagher walking by, I would also be fascinated by him. And then he gets like mugged and pushed onto the train tracks and she saves his life. And I guess somebody had overheard her just like, that sort of like when you have a crush of like, oh, I'm going to marry him someday, and assumes that she's serious. And then he's unconscious and his family all thinks that she's his fiance. And then shenanigans ensue, and then she falls for his brother, Bill Pullman, and more shenanigans ensue because he wakes up and like remembers everything except for her. And yeah, and then she's about to marry him, and then she doesn't marry him, and then she gets engaged to Bill Pullman at the end, and it's so cute.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, so my first thought was this makes me miss watching ER. Chicago in the winter. I don't know.
I know, on the L, and yeah, and it's so snowy. We're in the middle of a minor snow situation here, and I'm like, oh, so cozy and
I know.
Crunchy. Yeah.
So, who are your random transit crushes?
Ooh, I haven't regularly taken transit for a long time.
Well, no, like mine, I'm thinking of like grade 12. But you
Yeah.
drove, so.
Yeah, there wasn't really a transit option for me in high school because of where I lived, and then I drove myself and my siblings to school every day, so in my mom's car. Transit crushes? I don't know about transit crushes, but definitely like other sort of random people. It's not a crush, but I used to always see the same lady who lived in the building next door to me at the grocery store, and she was always really nice.
Yeah.
So we'd like smile at each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not a crush, but that's the most one I think that's the one I can think about. Like, especially when you're feeling like lonely in a big city, like seeing the same people doing the same things as you all the time, like is really reassuring.
Yeah. I had a lot of those during lockdown
Oh,
when
for
I was
sure.
running.
Yeah. You see the same people.
Yeah, including like nice old ladies who always said good morning.
Yeah.
So that's always nice because you need to talk to somebody.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But yeah, I have one transit crush that definitely sticks out in my mind
Nice.
the most because he always wore gloves. So we called him my gloved love.
Oh.
But like not winter gloves.
Oh.
Like biking gloves.
Oh, okay, that's a little bit weirder.
Yeah, and like we were
Or
just
like
taking
more
the
notable.
bus.
Maybe he was a germaphobe.
Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, that's who I thought of. I don't even know what year that was, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Or like the people that you'd always see in class at university that like you never talked to,
Yeah.
but like you felt like you knew them because you like sat beside them or like behind them.
Yeah,
every
totally.
day.
And they're like, "Oh, they're wearing that sweater today."
Yeah. Yep. For sure. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there was a guy, my physics class was like 400 people. And yeah, there was a guy who had a really good like jacket sweater situation happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, never spoke to him, but
No.
yeah, because it was like an 8 a.m. physics
Well, yeah.
100.
Oh,
I'm not talking
horrible.
to anybody, even my
No.
best friend that I sat beside. Yeah.
Also, it would break the spell because what if they were weird?
Oh, I'm sure they were weird. I was weird. Everybody was weird.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, but like it's true. It's very much like a city thing, and especially like it comes out that her mom died when she was young, and then she was looking after her dad while he was sick, and they'd moved to Chicago for like his medical care, so she wasn't even like from the city, and then she's all alone at Christmas and just kind of doing whatever job she could get because she probably had to like sort of sacrifice her dreams to look after her dad. So yeah, so she doesn't really have any friends other than like her boss, and then she has like that coworker that she's friendly with.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so, like the fact that she like gloms onto the regulars that she sees at her work, like totally makes sense.
It does.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, she kind of, it gets away, the lie gets away from her quite a lot.
Yes.
But yeah.
Yeah, I think because it's a movie and it's 1995, they really lean into her being alone because she's single.
Yeah.
But I was like, she could get friends.
Yeah.
I know it's been like not even a year since her dad died, but she seems to get along well with people, so she just needs to put some effort into it, which
Well,
I'm not blaming her for, but I'm like, she could do it.
Yeah, she could. Yeah.
I
And like
believe
she's
in her.
friendly with her neighbor. He's just creepy.
Yeah.
So, she could find other neighbors who are less creepy.
Exactly. Yeah, I think she could do it. I think she's just extra sad.
Yeah, and then because it's Christmas, and then she's like stuck in kind of a dead end job, and yeah, I don't know. Well, and especially when you think about like the people taking tokens at the train, like that's not a job that exists anymore.
Yeah, I know.
So yeah, like when I say dead end job, I don't mean that like she's like judging her for having that job, but like that job is literally gonna get technologied in like 10 years. So yeah. And yeah, like her boss that she's friendly with, like he is supportive of her like as a person, but also like guilts her into like picking up extra shifts because she's single and what else is she gonna do?
Yeah.
And like wants her to make friends, but like probably not that much because if she made friends, then she
because then she wouldn't be able to work for him. Yeah. Yeah, and like this whole thing of her working on Christmas, but then she goes to the hospital. So who's working?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Like then what happens?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Yeah, I feel like something would have gotten shut down, which would suck if you're trying to get somewhere on the train on Christmas.
Well, that's the other thing of like, there has to be protocols.
Oh, for sure. Like,
right?
Yeah, like like an emergency stop button that you'd hit, like, you wouldn't also jump off the tracks. And,
No,
I mean, she's lucky there was a place to roll to.
yeah, that train had a driver, so he would have had a radio.
Yeah. Like, I know there's, like, buttons all over the station to press in case of, like, any kind of emergency.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, like, our trains have sensors for when there's a...
Yeah, I think, like, that's the thing with the old ones, like Chicago and New York.
Yeah,
they don't have, but they still have drivers. But that means that
because our trains
the
here don't have
driver can
drivers.
stop the train.
Yeah, I mean, it does take a long time to stop a train, but you'd think if it was coming into a station, it would be stopping anyways, but then, or slowing at least. But she said it was an express, so maybe it wasn't going to that station, so it was not planning to stop. So then, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. I feel like we're overthinking that plot line.
I know. It's more of just like, why isn't there any safety proticles?
Yes, exactly. And I feel
that
like
part is confusing.
Half the point of having like a person at the train station is for safety. And so she, like, in addition to, you know, being able to take tokens and I'm assuming sell tokens and stuff, like, you would think that she'd be trained on like safety emergency protocols because she's the person at the train station.
Yeah.
So
that's who people would go to. Yeah.
Yeah. So, so then she ends up at the hospital and it's chaos with Peter's crazy family, including the mom from Mary Poppins.
Mary Poppins, yeah.
Which was very confusing to me, even though, yes, I was like 14 when this came out, but I was still like confused because obviously like you couldn't look up IMDb. And so like understanding that Mary Poppins, even though it took place in like the 1910s or like 1900s, wasn't filmed in the 1900s. I didn't quite have that level of awareness. So I was confused, but then I got over it.
Yeah, I think for some reason it's just the same of like, how is she still alive? Although, even though Julie Andrews is also alive, like, I don't know why it just didn't work, right?
Yeah, well, I think, because Julie Andrews you'd seen in all kinds of stuff, so she was like definitely an actor, whereas this person was like, I'd never seen her in anything since Mary Poppins until I saw her in this, and then and she's got, you know, a very like memorable voice, accent and stuff, so she's great in this.
She's amazing.
Well, we'll get to it in the tropes, but she's a so-called sad cat lady, like she has a cat at her house, but then also, well, Peter Gallagher has a cat, but it turns out it's his crazy girlfriend's cat. But still, I was like, people who aren't single ladies can have cats, and people who have cats, or people who are single ladies, don't have cats.
Don't have to have cats. We don't have cats.
Yeah, and they're nothing connected to each other. Yeah, but because she has a cat, then you get to see some bad cat care, including tinsel all over her Christmas tree.
And then she puts tinsel on the cat.
Ugh. Yeah, no, because cats will eat tinsel and then it tangles up in their intestines.
Yeah, and then they die.
Bad. And then she also gives her cat milk, which cats are lactose intolerant.
Yeah, stop doing this. Poor cat.
Yeah, give your cat food and cat safe toys.
Well, also she has cat food there, but it's like the shitty grocery store cat food. Like, oh no, this cat is
Well, that was all that you could get in the 90s. As somebody who had a cat in the 90s, like,
except for the
no
vet
other
stuff.
Cat food.
Yeah. But I was like, this cat is gonna get crystals.
If it survives the tinsel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, do you want to share your very important observation?
Oh my god. You guys. This is very exciting for the Venn diagram of people who listen to our podcast and listen to Buffering the Vampire Slayer.
Yes.
Bill Pullman, in his like second scene when he's at the house in the morning talking to her, has a fucking green mug.
Oh, just like Giles's green mug. Oh, man. And if you don't watch Buffering, you have no idea what we're talking about. But they're like those like jadeite, sort of retro, semi-translucent-y green mugs that apparently are now really expensive because they don't make them anymore and they're really fragile. But yeah, he has a green mug and it's great. And I'm sure Lindsay will put that screenshot that she sent me all over social media. So
because I watched it and then I just stared at this TV for a while and then I went back to take a photo.
Amazing. It's so good. And if you don't listen to Buffering and you like Buffy, go do that because they're great. Yeah. So as like a female character who is in a movie in the 90s, she's like actually pretty good.
Yeah, so it's interesting. Like, we talked a lot about Meg Ryan being creepy in Sleepless in Seattle, and she definitely is, not creepy, but she definitely has some issues with this. And the script was originally gender swapped, and then everyone was like, that's creepy. But still, that doesn't mean it's okay because she's a woman.
Well, it's more forgivable though, because it's like an accident and like a white lie that she tells just because she wants, or that she like perpetuates. She doesn't really like intentionally tell a lie. She also doesn't intentionally correct anybody.
No, I think then she just finds herself in a safe space.
Yeah, she's in this. Yeah, so she finds this family that she loves and that love her, and that's just really what she needed at that point in her life. And so she just like feels really stuck because she doesn't want to disappoint them, and she doesn't want to have them be mad at her. And yeah.
So she does own up to it in the end, which could be argued that she's doing it because that she's in love with Jack, not because she feels guilty.
Well, but I think
they could be both sides.
It could be both at the same time. And also, like, yes, like, we might as well marry you. I mean, he says something like,
my family loves you, so I might as well love you.
Yeah, I might as well love you. And I'm like, oh, romantic. So, you know, like, when it comes to the reality of like her standing at the altar about to marry this guy that she doesn't know, regardless of Peter, or of Jack, I mean, like, I could see her calling it off separate from wanting to choose Jack.
Because then she doesn't go to him. She leaves.
No, she goes back to work and quits her job and decides to go traveling, which is what she'd always wanted to do.
So I think, like, if he hadn't shown up at the end, which of course is what we want, because that's where we watch the movie, but she would have done all the things that we believe that she could do. She could have gotten some friends. She could have gone traveling. She could have gone back to school. Like, I think that she could have, this was her wake-up call to come back to her life.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And being like, people will love me. I just have to go find them in a more honest manner.
Yeah, and like not be like sleepwalking through her own life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then he does show up, and it's amazing.
He does show up, and it's so cute. But then, the worst, well, maybe not the worst, but one of the like most hit you over the head with, we're going to put the name of the movie in this movie.
Oh my God. It's
and
so
her,
bad.
like, all of, at the beat, like, her intro and outro, like, it's just so hammer over the head. Like, this is a movie about while you were sleeping and love. And it's just really bad. And I feel bad for Sandra Bullock having to have, like, delivered that dialogue probably, like, in a booth by herself.
Yeah.
So awkward. Oh.
She's like, didn't you just see me drive that bus?
Yeah.
Why am I doing this?
I'm a badass. Oh, yeah. And then, so when I saw this movie in the theater, my, like, one part that made me completely laugh aloud because it was so absurd and had no business in the movie was the kid is riding on his bike, like the paper boy, I think, and like falls on the ice and bails. And I just remember finding it so ridiculous and laughing out loud, and also having no idea why they kept it in the movie, but also loving it. And then years later, probably on like the director's commentary or something, when I rented it on DVD one time, it was like a blooper. So like it was just supposed to be like a background actor riding his bike, you know, just like showing that it was the morning, basically. The papers were getting delivered, and then the kid fell because it was icy, and they kept it in because it felt real, I guess. But then it turns out that the kid actually like broke his wrist.
Yeah.
And then I feel bad.
No.
But it's also, I mean, yeah, it's just like one of those weird parts of the movie.
Yeah.
So weird. I don't know. But yeah, I definitely...
it's one of those parts where you're like, I know this isn't a Christmas movie, but which one? Right? Like, it's not related to the movie at all. It could be in any Christmas movie.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. All right. Should we get to some tropes?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we talked about this first one already. Sad single lady with a cat.
Yeah. Then we have a convoluted plot point to get to giant misunderstanding, which is the main plot point. So the nurse hears her and thinks that they're engaged. So she takes her in, and then the family comes, and then the doctor comes in, and he's like, why is she here? It's supposed to be family only. And like, has a mini temper tantrum.
Yeah.
So that somebody can say out loud, she is his fiance in front of his family. And I'm like, it's the weirdest thing.
Also, like, how did his family get there so fast?
I don't know. And like, if I was the old doctor and the young doctor came to give me a temper tantrum, I'd be like, go back and go do your job. Who cares?
Yeah.
Like, it's so weird.
So weird. Yeah. Yeah. And then obviously a giant misunderstanding is the whole plot of the movie. Yeah. We've also had lots of movies where the main characters have no friends. In this one, we don't know that Jack has no friends, but we know that she has no friends, and because she talks about it, and she talks about being lonely. So at least in this case, it's not like she knows it's a problem. It's not. Yeah. It's not like she just coincidentally has no friends.
Yeah, like, and can only talk to
most other movies. Yeah. Which means that the found family trope is even more important.
It's so good.
Yeah.
And they give her the present. Oh my god.
Yeah. And like the neighbor and the sister, and they're all just so cute.
Yeah. Ugh. So the boyfriend that she leaves, who's Peter, is a douche. Kind of is less of a douche by the end of the movie, but because it took a coma to wake him up. But like, he has pictures of himself in his wallet, like Sears pictures of him like with tennis rackets.
Yeah, it's so weird, like headshots of himself.
Yeah.
No, he's a douche, but it doesn't really have any impact on things.
No, like, she doesn't really know that he's a douche because she doesn't interact with him that much when he's awake.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Exactly. Oh, and then we have our good old wise old man, who's the neighbor who knows her secret from pretty much the beginning, but then also I think really likes her and doesn't wants her to be part of their family. So and also doesn't want his dear friend's family to be sad also. So he keeps up the lie for her. Yeah.
Yeah. And then falling in love quickly and getting engaged before going on a date. They get engaged before they kiss for the first time.
Yep. But they had at least, they'd done date-like activities.
Yes. I feel better about them than I do about a lot of other of these tropes. But still, just ugh, what if he was a really bad kisser? He would be. He's Bill Pullman, but still.
I know, right? And, then you, say yes in front of his whole family.
Yep.
And then also, make out in front of his whole family.
Yep. So, there's the neighbor, Joe Jr., who's very sleazy and gross, but he's also good for plot points of people misunderstanding her and, carrying the plot along and...
Yeah, for sure.
All sorts of things.
It's similar to... Not just because he's Italian-American / Italian, but the guy from The Wedding Planner.
Wedding Planner, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like always there and so annoying, but then he has
but he
says one thing and you're like, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And oh, I thought you were engaged to, I thought you liked Peter. No, I like Jack. But that whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
He helps with all of that. Yeah. And then a big secret reveal at the end. I mean, it's not the very end, but pretty close.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. And also it's the big secret reveal is as she's objecting to her own wedding.
Yes. True. Also.
Yeah. So it's a high stakes secret reveal. Yeah.
So wedding at the end that doesn't happen.
Oh yeah.
Also one.
Mm-hmm. So cute. Yeah. Oh, which is good because then she gets her good wedding dress at the end rather than her mom's old 50s wedding dress or whatever. Or 60s
it's
wedding
not
dress.
great.
That's kind of dingy color and not cute. Yeah. No, but then the other wedding, she is doing a planned wedding, so then she gets a proper wedding dress that she chose.
But one of my notes was, do you remember when French braids with a big bow meant your hair was really fancy?
Yeah.
Because that was what her hair was for her wedding. It's
Yep.
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 It's a big deal.
Yeah, a big poofy on top French braid. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, so great. So many tropes because that's basically what this movie is.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
So it does not pass the Bechdel test because she has no friends.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because she talks to her female coworker, but it's only about Peter and Jack.
Being engaged. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and like her finding out that she's engaged and assuming that she's pregnant and all that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, sadly, no. But let's make some pie.
Pie.
Okay. First up, we've got, just Bill Pullman being
Oh my God.
very charming. Let's call this like a solid 35?
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
My mom always likes to watch this one after Sleepless in Seattle because then he gets the girl.
Yes. Yeah. It's true. It's true. Oh man. Leaning. Ugh. And then also having watched this at like a formative time of like,
Yep.
does he like me or is he just being nice? Like that whole thing of like a hug that you give a boy versus a hug that you give a boy that you like. Oh my gosh. So much leaning.
So much leaning.
Head, like overanalyzing of hugs. As a result of this movie. So I'm going to give that a solid like 20%.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they talk about Florence so much. And like this was the only movie. I'm like, is Florence exciting? Is Florence nice? Nobody ever else ever talks about Florence.
I don't know. Yeah, my friends who've been to Italy, to Florence, I know one of them really liked it. I can't remember who.
Like, I'm sure it's very nice. It's in Italy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm just like, it's just such a random one.
Yeah. It's good though because it's specific rather than just like Italy or Europe. It's like, it's specific, which I think details like that always make characterization better. And like if we knew more about Florence, maybe we would understand why they picked Florence. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What, like 5 or 10?
Is it 5?
5. Okay. Cozy sweaters.
Oh my God.
So many.
All the sweaters I ever wanted in 1995.
Yeah. So many sweaters. Like 20?
I would go lower because the other one, the next one is to be high.
50. So we're at 60%. Okay. So 15?
Yeah.
Okay. And then our last one is family members talking loud nonsense over each other, having this, like, thinking they're having the same conversation, but they're having multiple conversations.
The reason why this movie is so good is just
because it feels believable.
It's so believable. And then Sandra Bullock and Bill Pullman just, like, looking at each other, like, rolling their eyes while this is happening. I'm like, you need good beef. Yep. I didn't say Cesar Romero was Spanish. I said he was tall.
Yep. I'm like,
nobody plays the clarinet
getting me emotionally
anymore.
Prepared for next week with my family. Because it's so true. Okay, so we're at 60. So 25%?
Yep.
Yeah, that seems about right.
It is good. Even at the end, he's like, let him do it. And he's like, he is doing it.
Yeah. Oh, so great. All right. Well, what do we think is next for these two?
I thought a lot about this one.
Yeah.
Probably because I like them so much. Mm-hmm. And I think so.
Yeah, I agree. I really think, like, they really got to know each other before getting together, which I think is a good sign.
Yes. And they also both changed their life when they weren't together. Like, we didn't talk about Bill Pullman.
Yeah.
But he did.
And not for each other.
Yeah, he left the company.
Yeah.
His dad's company. Which, by the way, why didn't anyone ever ask the daughter?
Right?
They're like, he can't. She's like,
well, I think she's like
I
16.
can't leave because I know he would just be alone. I'm like, he has another child.
Yeah. Yeah, she is a lot younger, though, so it
she
kind
is,
of makes sense, but still.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you still have to change the company name because it was like Wetschmidt and Son, but...
Yeah, but it still bothered me.
But still, yes.
So he changes his life to make his life better. Yes. And she changes her life to make her life better.
And to make
and that has nothing to do with each other.
Yeah.
Which I think is really important.
Yeah, they take steps to make themselves happy and then get together.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he, like, and before he knew any of that, like, he'd already forgiven her for lying, so...
Yeah.
yeah, I think they have high hopes.
Yeah.
High hopes. Good job. Oh, and then what's coming up for us?
Oh, well, nothing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because if you missed it, this was a bonus episode, but we are taking January pretty much off, but we'll be around on social media and maybe with some teases of what's to come in the land of our Patreon.
Yeah. And then February is very exciting, and I can't wait for Stanley Tucci month.
Yay!
So be sure to come back for then. If you're subscribed, then it'll just be there for you.
Yeah.
Waiting for you. So much Tucci. How can you resist?
So much. Yeah. And if you aren't subscribed, don't forget that you should subscribe to the podcast. And you can also rate and review us wherever you get your podcasts. You can find us on social media. We're at Charts and Hearts Podcast on Instagram and Facebook, and at Charts and Hearts on Twitter. Or you can go to our website, chartsandhearts.com, where you can send us your suggestions for rom-coms or tropes or other things that we should talk about on the podcast.
Yeah. You can also check out our Patreon at patreon.com/chartsandheartsclub. We do have Holiday with Katharine Hepburn and Cary Grant, and also White Christmas.
Yes.
There, if you're still feeling in a Christmassy mood on this Boxing Day or Boxing Week, or you don't know what day it is.
Yeah, it's the week where nobody knows what day.
Nobody knows what day it is, so just listen to podcasts. It'll be great.
Yay! Yay! Yeah, and let us know your thoughts on this movie if you have opinions about, I don't know,
how good it is,
and Bill Pullman being amazing.
Yeah, and also Peter Gallagher is hilarious. Like,
so hilarious. Yeah.
Do I like Jello? Like, he just is so good.
So good.
So
yes,
he just doesn't get a lot of action because he's asleep.
He's asleep in this movie. Yes, and in the meantime, these mashed potatoes are so creamy.